this packed episode of Garage Talk Unwrapped, we're gearing up for Automechanika 2025 with an exclusive preview, featuring some of the fantastic people behind the show, plus guests Neil Grant from Hella, Iain Molloy from A1 ADAS, and insights from the IAAF Chief Executive Mark Field on the upcoming Garage Awards. We shine the spotlight on a brand new Laser Tools product, and wrap up the deep dive into brake engineering with Tim Shaw from Car SOS. We talk to Laura Hall from Maverick Diagnostics about how she's driving the business forward, and get summer ready with a Towbar wiring feature from Right Connections. Liqui Moly walk us through the right way to use a DPF cleaner, and we launch a brand new 3-part series with Glen Callum Associates, starting with Nigel Duffield's inspiring career in the aftermarket. Let's start with a preview of the UK's biggest automotive aftermarket show, Automechanika.
Mark, exhibitor day for Automechanika, but more importantly, the Garage Awards as well. How's it going for them?
Yeah, really good. We've got, I think we're on course for a record number of nominations. It's obviously Automechanika Birmingham Garage Awards, hosted by IAAF and headline sponsored by LKQ Euro Car Parts. 10 categories this year. Been working with garages more and more as the federation moves more into that area, looking to really support garages, not just in terms of their whole businesses, but also some of the soft skills that we can support garages on. And I think the conversations we're having with garages is about how we can continue to raise standards in the trade, and it's really enlightening for us as a federation, but also really encouraging that I use the term, there are so many more of us that want to leave the industry better than when we first arrived. So the Garage Awards is about sort of celebrating that, really. Yes, we know we're busy. We've got lots of business coming into the aftermarket, but it's those that are going over and above, really putting into the market and actually making sure that the industry is better.
And I think what I've noticed is that you want a lot of garages to apply this time. There's a load out there that perhaps are a little bit unseen in the industry. We really want them to put their application in, don't we?
Absolutely. And I think that when you look at the number of nominations that we've got, what you do find is that the garages that have previously won, they want others to be part of it as well. So I think the whole sector is really interested in terms of how it's trying to get more in. It's not saying we're a closed shop. It's not. We're trying to make sure that the industry is as open as possible and everyone can apply.
And the ceremony, of course, is on the Wednesday night of Automechanika, isn't it? But it's quite a casual, relaxed evening, isn't it? One to be enjoyed.
Yeah, Wednesday the 4th of June, upstairs from the Automechanika Birmingham halls, and just making sure that we give garages, and we like to put on a show. Yeah. So making sure they have a good night, lots of networking, lots of entertainment, and hopefully a great night enjoyed by everyone.
And I noticed you announced your celebrity this week, so do you want to tell us a bit more about them?
Yeah, so we've got Stephen K. Amos, who's a writer, actor, and obviously comedian. Recently starred in Beetlejuice film, the Beetlejuice film.
Don't say it anymore.
But no, really good. Really pleased to have Stephen join us, and it's going to be a fantastic night.
And of course, the actual show itself is vital this year, isn't it? I think it's probably one of the biggest Automechanicas we've ever had.
I think it's a firm fixture now in the aftermarket calendar, and I think there's two key things I want to say about that. Number one is the fact that the event organisers, Messe Frankfurt, the whole team, is really working hard to listen to the market each year and make sure they put on an event that we can all be proud of, but also that we gain a lot from. And I think that moves me on to my second point in terms of what we're trying to do, or what the event organisers are trying to do with Motivate, which is about how we open up our trade to new people. And that's not just school and college leavers, it could be people from different industries as well. Myself personally, my daughter is of that age, 17, where she could be looking to form a career in something, and what better industry is there than the automotive aftermarket, with the great people and the great diverse careers that she can enjoy. So she'll be coming along, and hopefully everyone else will be, to see what the industry has to offer.
Recently we've started a new campaign with Glen Callum Associates about our aftermarket, because we've heard a lot about mechanics and technicians, but the aftermarket is massive. There's so many other roles, isn't there, in the industry that get lost in that? message?
I think it's a great initiative because knowing Glen Callum as I do, and one of the key things that Glen talks about is actually how we can bring people in from other sectors, allied sectors, how they can get involved in what we're trying to do, because it isn't, it's great that we can bring people in from education settings, but to bring people in from these other sectors that know different skills and can bring things, it's absolutely brilliant. So, I use the term a lot. There are 2,000 careers in the motor trade. You can enjoy so many different ones. So we just got to make sure that we highlight those.
Yeah,
and that's what Automechanika Birmingham does so well.
So the message is get down to the NEC between the 3rd and the 5th of June.
Yep, get yourself registered, come down, and I talk a lot about it, but let's raise the level of debate in our industry, and I think Automechanika Birmingham is the perfect platform to do that.
There's only one thing left for me to ask. You might flip. Over to you.
Yeah, well, I only do it at IAAF events, but I'll try it now.
Catherine, nice to meet you. We've obviously been talking a lot about registration for people to come to the show. How's registration looking?
It's looking great. We're already up over 10% on registrations, and we only launched a couple of weeks ago now, so it's looking really strong. We've got loads of our exhibitors now doing our co-marketing with us, so getting their main employers and things like that, their main clients. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be the best event we've done so far.
And it's important for visitors to register so you know numbers that are coming, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And also we've got a really clear of what the visitors are looking for this year, so we can give a really clear guidance to our exhibitors on what kind of visitors are coming and who they can speak to.
What can visitors expect on the day? A very warm welcome from what you've said today.
Yeah, definitely. We've got loads of new initiatives. We've got some competitions running, 30 under 30 national paid championships. So there'll be lots to see, lots to do. Our speaker list is nearly full, so there'll be plenty to do, a busy schedule for them.
And of course, free parking and free breakfast, which at the NEC is very unusual.
Yeah, free breakfast and free parking. We've got some amazing sponsors for that one. Just something extra to give back to our visitors because we've had such successful shows in the past, so it'd be nice to give back to them.
So there's no excuse not to come, really, is there?
No, definitely not.
Brilliant. All the best. Neil, 2 months away from Automechanika. How are things shaping up at Hella?
Yeah, they're shaping up really well, actually. We're really excited. We're having regular meetings about what we're going to showcase. I think the good thing from our point of view, we've got a lot happening. So actually, it's more about how do we make sure we get the messages across about all the good things we're doing. Sometimes you can kind of be looking at these things with, it's more of the same. But we've got so many different products coming out, which is fantastic. It's really about making sure we showcase them in the right way.
You made a big splash this week about thermal management.
Yep.
Tell us more.
Yeah, well, obviously, Hella were involved with thermal management a few years ago. We exited from that because we had a joint venture business, which, it was decided that maybe it was best to part ways. That led us to needing to take some time away from that product group, so to speak. But we have a lot of specialism in it. And, we still have the people, we still have the knowledge. And so it was only a matter of time, really, before we entered back into it. So, it will be done in a measured way. I think we're trying to make sure that we have that in a controlled way. That means we can enter the market in the right fashion. But really pleased that we have that coming back and we're able to showcase that at Automechanika.
And ADAS is taking a step forward, I believe.
It is, yeah. So again, ADAS is a big area, of course. And, we launched in Frankfurt a new X20 tool. There are still some challenges that we're seeing with that because we want to make sure that it's right for the market. So we've delayed the launch a little bit just to make sure that actually what we are launching is a product that is really ready for the future. So we will be ready to demonstrate something at Automechanika in Birmingham, that's for sure.
Keeping it close to your chest. It seems very exciting.
We are indeed. Yeah, we try not to give too much away. I think these previews are great, but actually, what you don't want to do is let the cat out of the bag too early. So we're desperately trying to keep a few things under wraps. But no, we're really, really pleased, as I say, that we have some really exciting stuff to be able to showcase.
One thing that we think this year at Garage Talk is that this is probably the biggest Automechanika ever. This is the first one after COVID where there's going to be no restrictions at all. I think 2023 was good, but people were still a bit wary. Yeah. What's your feelings towards that?
Yeah, I mean, 2023 surprised me a little bit, if I'm honest, because I think we were still all a little bit unsure of whether the world would ever go back to these types of events where you get thousands of people. But we had a really successful 2023 event. And I think you're right. I think 2025 looks to be even bigger and even better. So, very much looking forward to it. As you say, I think 23, maybe there was still a few people that were a little bit, it was a little bit early coming out of COVID, but I think now we're 2 years on from that, I think that there is just a complete buzz about it. And certainly internally, there is always a buzz a few months before Automechanika when we're planning, stand designing, all that sort of stuff. It's a really big event, really important for us.
Iain, Automechanika 2025. Excited?
Yeah, very. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to meeting new people. Yeah.
And the key question at the moment is, of course, what are you doing? And I guess it's education, is it, this year for yourself?
Yeah, so we're launching the A1 ADAS group to our customers. We are doing live demonstrations on our stand throughout the day of ADAS calibrations and remote diagnostics as well.
And I think the big question at the moment, of course, is why do people need ADAS? I think there's a little bit of education needed out there to the garages as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about EVs and ADAS in the market at the moment, and there's still a lot to learn. And there's obviously for customers coming to Automechanika, there's always going to be something they can learn on the day about ADAS and the importance of doing it, the requirements for doing it, and the benefits of doing it.
And I think at the moment, this is one thing that we do need to educate people on, is prevention is better than cure, isn't it? Absolutely.
So we see a lot of cars being repaired, which are being let go out, and in them circumstances, they should have had repairs done for ADAS. So it could be simple things, like geometry's carried out, or the front bumper's been removed and replaced. And because there isn't necessarily a light on the dashboard, it could just mean that that radar sensor's working but not working to its correct optimum. Or it could be another situation like a windscreen's been replaced, and then the calibration's needed afterwards.
I think at the moment, garages are a little bit worried about using ADAS as well, aren't they?
Yeah, but yes, they obviously see it as a sort of a new thing. ADAS has been around for quite a while, and it's not going away. They shouldn't be worried. With someone like A1 as one of their partners, we're able to help them and guide them in the right direction of when an ADAS should be calibrated and what circumstances, and how to eventually gain an accurate and successful calibration.
And this is what you want to talk to people at Automechanika about, especially the garages, because it's an opportunity for them rather than a cost, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity to earn revenue from it, but ultimately it's about making sure that when cars come into the repairer's workshop, and let them go out in a safe condition as the manufacturer intended. So look for the opportunity, but make sure the car goes out safe. And you're going to have a full team there, all ready to go? Yeah, we're fully prepared for the day, for 3 days. 3 days, yeah. 3 days. Fully prepped for 3 days, and really, really excited and looking forward to it.
Joe, tell us a little bit more about what is happening at the show and what visitors can expect.
So we are 15% up on garages year to date. We're also 58% actually is new for the event, which is brilliant. Obviously, if you've not registered yet, make sure you go through and do that.
And in terms of the exhibitors at the show, what can visitors expect to see? Numbers, anything new happening?
So we've got loads of new exhibitors actually, and we've got some really big names that are coming through to the show, some of them for the first time ever. So we're really excited. We're also looking to push the barrier of how many exhibitors we have and increase it by 10%. So we're expecting 550 exhibitors this year.
Wow, it's going to be big.
Yeah, something new that we've got going on for Automechanika Birmingham for 2025 is Automechanika Motivate, which is focused on bringing mid-career changes, school students, people from college, all through to the industry to try to close the skills gap. So I'm really excited about it for this year, but equally what that looks like for the future as well. What's going on socially?
So we've got loads going on socially at the event. We've got the IAAF networking drinks. So we also have the Women in Automotive networking drinks. That's taking place on the second day of the show, Wednesday the 4th of June, 12 till 2. Everybody is welcome. It's, to promote women in the industry, we're encouraging people to bring along their female colleagues, but it's also really important for men to come along as well, and for them to, integrate more women into the industry. So it'd be great to see as many of you as possible at that event. And we're really looking forward to it.
So obviously there's going to be so much going on. It's going to be a brilliant event. Make sure you register if you haven't already, and we'll see you there.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in-store, online or call.
So this has come in, we want to have a look at it. So if we can start stripping it, we can inspect it as we go in. I also want to go through what we keep and what we don't keep.
And there it is.
Then
That was warm, it's lovely that is. Mate, it's retaining all that heat. And that is the other one, the matching one for the back. Right, so what have we got going? What's this place?
So this is where we package all our calipers. Last part of the inspection to make sure we're putting the right caliper into the right box so the customer gets the right product when they order it.
Okay. I cannot get over the scale of this place. It's absolutely huge.
As we said, we'll do 600,000 calipers this year.
I keep noticing these stickers here. So you're using recycled cardboard, right?
No, it's not about recycled. Although we do use recycled cardboard, this is more about what's in the box.
What is in the box? Calipers, isn't it?
The best man to speak to will be Richard.
Right.
Tim.
Okay, nice to meet you. Well, what were you doing? Packing,
I'll
right?
carry on
Yeah,
doing
you
that,
carry on.
Richard.
That's it. There you go. Right, talk to me about what's going on in here then.
Okay, so all our products, very sustainable.
Right.
It's all about the CO2 savings.
Okay, go on, explain that.
So every year, what we remanufacture saves 951 tonnes of CO2 going into the atmosphere.
950, what?
951
But that's huge.
Massive numbers, yeah.
That's like people would dream of those numbers. Right, so hang on, explain how then. How do you do that?
So if we were to cast these new, you've got to dig the material out the ground.
Sorry, it's that you're... Come on, focus. That's shot. You don't stick it like that. No wonder you don't work in packing. Anyway, carry on.
Yep, so 951 tonnes. If we were to cast these new, you'd have to dig the material out of the ground, recast them. So by reusing the castings, we're saving them.
And these ones are here in the UK?
These are straight in the UK.
So just thinking about it as well. So there's your 951, but also for people out there that are buying the Chinese ones, they're coming by sea, CO2, manufactured in China, CO2, getting to their door, more CO2.
Absolutely.
So actually, to bring down your CO2 footprint for companies in this country, it makes more sense to use the ones that are being remanufactured in this country and are already existing in this country prior to that.
Yes. Yes, so it helps our customers bring down their CO2 emissions and achieve net zero.
That is great. And I'll tell you what's not great is the fact that this chump who's stacking here. Have you seen this? Look at the stack. Look at that. Honestly.
What's wrong with it?
There's the right, come on, he's fired. Should we fire him? Right, you're fired. Thank you. Yeah? Right, come on then. Let's go and do some reassembly. We'll leave you to it. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Right, so this is the bit we've all been waiting for. This is where the world collides, everything comes together,
exactly
right?
That.
Assembly. So what are we doing?
So we tapped it all, we spec'd it again, so Matt's putting your caliper back together now.
Okay.
And it'll go down the line as normal.
I'm still struggling to believe that that is the very caliper that I came in
sure
with.
is, mate. It sure is.
It's OE, it's original. Is that it, Matt? Was that that's it, okay.
Project, yeah.
All right, it's done, thanks for coming. All right.
Yeah, and then it's to the vice.
Okay, yep. So the handbrake lever is going in now. This is an old school handbrake, isn't it?
Yep.
So the interesting thing about back calipers is they have two jobs to do. Front calipers just work on stopping the car at the front, but you don't have a permanent locked on brake there. You don't sit in the car with your foot on the brake. But the rears do. Your handbrake operates the rear calipers as well mechanically when you put the handbrake up. So that's precisely what this thing is doing here, isn't it? So let's actually put a lock in there. You must get such job satisfaction from working here because there's nothing more rewarding than, you know, somebody delivering something that looks horrible.
And gets to where it is
today.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
And we're saving the planet.
I think, exactly. And I think so many people scrap things or overlook things that are dirty and just need, you know, a good, hard, thorough process to go through. They're not waste, are they? They're not scrap. They just need to be remanufactured.
Bleed screw. Yeah, exactly that.
Right, okay. In goes the bleed nipple. I know this sounds really weird, but I really want to touch it.
No, you can't touch it.
Not yet. Right.
Okay, so that's the first process done.
Yep.
Now we move on to the second process.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, mate. Right, next one. Right then, next step.
So this is where we put the push rod in, spring and case, make sure the levers engaging the push rod, so we know then it'll operate.
Okay. What's that's going in?
So just assembly fluid, because obviously we've got a rubber component there going into the hole. Then it goes nice and simply in.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to film, so that you can see this, I'm going to film this on my phone so we can see the precision work that's going. Oh, look at that. So in goes a circlip.
Yeah.
You've done this before, haven't you?
Once or twice.
Right. You can have a look, you can have a close-up on this now, because it looks absolutely brand new. It's incredible to think about what it was. Look at this thing now, it looks wonderful. It really does. So, what was that thing that we've just put in there called?
Push rod.
The push rod, right,
Yeah.
okay. Right, another
We've got
circlip
the last
goes in.
circlip that goes in.
Yeah. Isn't it bizarre to think that that is the same caliper that I turned up with? It's the same thing, but it just looks like it's been completely
Check the operation.
completely remade. Well, it has, but I mean, made from scratch. Let me have a look at that. Look at that. That is wonderful. It's hard, isn't it amazing to think that is the same caliper that I came here with? Exactly the same thing. Right. So now the thing that we're missing is, let me guess it, the piston.
Yeah.
This is it, the final part of the assembly
So this
process.
is the final stage of the caliper assembly, where we fit the main seal,
Yep.
the piston and the piston boot.
I'm going to film it on the phone so you can see this again. Right, okay.
Again,
so
piston would have been manufactured by ourselves on
Yep.
the CNC machine that you looked at
Oh, hang
before.
on a minute. That is very similar to
Very
the one
similar,
that...
but a slightly different part number, but
Right.
again, exactly the same process what you wanted before.
Right, in goes the first piece. Here we go.
So this is the main seal going in.
Yeah.
Again, 100% new every time.
That's lovely to see, isn't it? It's such a treat to see. Bear in mind all the way, like what this looked like when you first got it. Okay, so that is the piston.
And the piston boots. Piston
Right.
boots there to protect the internal components and seal and everything for anything getting in there. Again, 100% new.
Should I get a job as a cameraman? I'm doing all right, aren't I? Look at this. Right, okay, so that's now in. Now what do you do next then?
So this is where we wind it all the way down.
Yep.
And then set the piston ready for the
Okay.
customer.
Right, I'll turn that off for a moment. So this is the important bit where it winds onto that weird, what was the thing called inside?
Push rod.
The push rod. So
Yeah.
it winds onto the push rod.
Yeah.
It's now engaged. You can
Yeah,
see
you can
the...
see your boot flattening out.
yeah.
So what we'll do now, it'll be set and a quarter turn back.
Okay, I will show you that bit. Hang on there, look, have a look at this. That, what's weird about this is, I remember when we started disassembling it, in fact we could cut to a shot, have a look at the right, so that's what it looked like, exactly the same, and look at it now. There's some pride in there, isn't there?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Right.
Still not finished.
Oh come on, I need to get it.
I know, one process less, which is the testing process.
Really?
Yep, to make sure we built it
Come on then,
correctly.
let's do the testing.
Okay,
Let's do it.
let's go.
Thank you mate, appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil.
Where's that then, round here?
The last part, the most important part is the pressure test. Every caliper we make is pressure tested.
Okay.
So that'll be the final part of the operation.
Right,
Right,
Nick.
do you mind testing that for us?
Fantastic. Right, so in it goes.
So now it's going through, first of all it goes to a low pressure test. After 30 seconds then it goes to a high pressure test. For
So this
40
is
seconds.
simulating
This is exactly-
driving, extreme driving.
Exactly, and this is very much an OE specification that we're working to at the moment.
Well, I say extreme driving, it's extreme braking,
Yes,
isn't it? Yeah.
yes.
It's quite the opposite. Yeah. Okay. And what's it doing with air or?
Yeah, yeah. So it's air pressure coming
Wow.
through. Like I say, OE specification test that we use.
Yep.
Everything's 100% inspected and tested every caliper we make.
What's interesting about that is you're testing with air, but it's harder for fluids to leak out than it is air. So if it can sustain it, if it can cope
Exactly.
with air,
Exactly.
then it'll have no
Yes.
problem with
And like I
fluids.
say, we've got a low pressure test and a high pressure. So if there's any sort of seeping that will pick up on, and if there's a major failure that will pick up on that
Right,
as well.
okay. But you know, I can see the confidence in your eyes that there's going to be no problem with this.
I'm very happy it'll be fine. Green.
There we go.
Thank you.
Right, come on, let me get my hands on
Not
it.
yet.
Really?
Not yet. No, not yet.
Now what?
I want to show you what your one that you brought in looked like against this.
Let's do it. Oh, now I see what you... Oh, look at this. The
Okay.
before, the after.
Exactly, that's exactly
Right.
what I wanted you to see.
Wow, look at that.
So
That
you've
is
seen that all through the processes today.
I cannot get
So
my head.
from
Look at
that
this thing.
to that.
Isn't that incredible? What a lovely thing to have seen happen. So let's be honest with that. I don't even like touching those.
Okay.
You know, they're covered in brake dust and all sorts of horrible things. But that, I'd eat my tea off that, man. That's absolutely stunning, isn't it?
Thank you.
And what's weird about it though is that like, it's the same thing, but if I went back to 1980 whatever and grabbed it off the production line and Back to the Future it, I mean, it's like we've jumped forward in time. It's brand new in every sense, isn't it?
And you've watched every process go through today.
Here's a problem though, one major problem.
What's that?
I came in here with 2 knackers,
Yep.
and I'm leaving with 1 knacker and a lovely one.
No, you're not. You're leaving with 2.
No, but I can't put...
We made one early for you, so we carry some on the shelf, and that's the opposite hand to what you require.
How many have you got on the shelf?
100,000 pieces, different part numbers.
100,000 different calipers.
100,000 different calipers.
So I could have come in here and just gone, hello mate, I'm in a rush, can you get me? No way, it is as well.
But you wouldn't have seen the process.
Which was the best bit for me.
Exactly.
That is absolutely stunning. Right, final question before I leave with 2 sparkly, lovely looking calipers for a Cosy. Considering you can turn back the hands of time, can you do it to this?
Unfortunately not. It's a bit like what we did with the Chinese casting earlier on. That's finished, that's done.
Did he actually just say that? What, stick me in the bin?
Yeah.
Cheeky get. Get my head round how much stock you've got in here.
Yeah, so sitting on about 100,000 pieces, different types of part numbers,
yeah, so anyone
vehicles.
Can, like if they've got knackered brakes or whatever, they can literally send their old ones in and new ones will go out the same day.
Yes, very much that.
I actually am embarrassed to say that I didn't know you guys were here.
Brake engineering has been going for over 40 years.
Yeah, but like seriously, you guys are clearly world leaders in what you do.
Yeah.
So every set of brakes that I have from now on is coming to you guys.
Thank you very much, appreciate
that. Thank you for having me, I've loved
it. Laura.
Hiya.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Ben.
Maverick Diagnostics is moving forward and you're pushing that a lot. Tell us about your role and what you do at Maverick.
So I'm Managing Director at Maverick Diagnostics. I've been in this role for 18 months and really my role has been to bring dealer diagnostics, OE diagnostics to the independent aftermarket, make sure that independent garages can access it, understand it, educate them on how to use it, so therefore they're keeping their workshops future-proofed and in business.
And over the last 18 months we've seen your profile rising, which is great to see. But on a day-to-day basis, what are you doing to drive the business forward?
We're really focusing on education, so a lot of our content, if your viewers have seen it, is about really teaching technicians, garage owners that OE diagnostics is there for them to use, and it's educating them on the return on investment, that yes, it might seem daunting, the price tag we get is high, but actually the rewards are there to be reaped. So we're talking to them about their businesses, about what cars are in their area, looking at specialising, seeing what models and makes they're working on the most, and starting from there.
It's quite unique because that's a case of what's in it for them rather than what's in it for you.
Yeah.
Tell us about that thinking.
Well, yeah, it's true. I guess the founders, Andy and Dave, have always been really passionate about diagnostics. They've worked in the field for 30 years and they've seen this coming, that garages, if they don't embrace this latest technology, they're going to be out of business. Andy himself was a garage owner, so he understands this more than anyone, and he's so passionate about it. And that's really what attracted me to Maverick Diagnostics. It's that problem solving and the passion. So yeah, we just love seeing our customers do well, take on the dealer tools, start off with 1 or 2 kits, and then they grow, their businesses flourish. It's really brilliant to see.
Seems like you're on a journey with them. It's not sell it and forget it. You're actually part of their business, their journey.
Oh, absolutely. We're there for them. We're about the education. So after they've bought the tool, they're not on their own. We've got our own tech support team. I mentioned Sam and Ed earlier. They're so knowledgeable, they're IT experts, and that is something that we all struggle with, don't we? But especially garage owners and technicians, it seems daunting, and we're there to take that pain away. But we're not just about dialing in, solving it for them. As we do it, we're educating them so that they can go away and do it themselves next time.
educating and entertaining. Is that fair to say, Laura?
Yes, definitely.
I think that's one of the major keys, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, if anyone knows him, he's very entertaining to work for, and our customers love him.
Yes, and everyone knows Andy in the industry, really, if you've been around in the industry for a while. Rich, you fit in so well there, and obviously that's because of Andy, but obviously that's because of yourself as well and the philosophy at the business. Have you had to change much?
No, not at all.
I didn't think so.
So I'm not from this industry.
No.
I worked in oil and gas translation. I had my own retail business, so totally different. But I think coming into this industry, I've taken something from each of the roles I've had in the past. Really, doing business is the same in whatever industry you're in, and I really enjoy this industry. I love our customers; they're great to talk to. I love all the events we do. So yeah.
It's automatically read the vehicle identification numbers. Then we go down and select what vehicle it is now. It's a Transit and it's a build date 2022. We've got all these, what we can do, assistance, common faults, favourites. We go into favourites and it's going to be trailer Towbar coding or reverse backup camera coding. Click on the Towbar. Put all the necessary assessments in there, yes. 7 or 13?
7.
This is what's going to class as creating a ticket. There you go, it's sent through to Callum now.
So once the customer's connected with the Complete Diagnostics coding tool, we connect to the vehicle, getting the vehicle details, talking to the customer through our online chat, and we then connect to the vehicle using the required dealer tool. In this case, it's a Ford Transit Custom, so we'll be using the Ford FDRS system. Once connected to the vehicle, we'll perform all the required configurations to the vehicle's modules, so the vehicle knows that it's had a retrofitted tow bar and wiring kit fitted. This will then make all the required adaptations within the vehicle, providing all the additional features within the vehicle as the manufacturer intended. Once the tow bar configuration is completed within the vehicle, we inform the customer in the chat and get them to test the vehicle to check that all the functions have been correctly activated using the Complete Diagnostics tool.
Right, he's just text back now saying coding complete. Please cycle the ignition. So basically we've got to key off for 30 seconds, let all the modules power down, and then it will power up. He's actually setting that screen as well to us to say procedure complete or successful.
Once the vehicle's been coded and you turn the ignition on the vehicle, in the vehicle's display you'll see a message say that a trailer has been connected. We'll then go and test the trailer lights. Go through all the lights all functioning correctly. Indicators, foot brake, side lights and the fog light will be disabled on the vehicle when it's towing. This is to avoid any glare on a caravan or anything like that. We're now going to test the legally required C2 notifications. So with the right hand indicator on, we'll turn the indicator off on the trailer board and we get a message on the dash to let you know that you've got a turn signal malfunction. We'll do the same on the left hand light now. Same with the left hand light there, and then we'll do the same with the brake lights. And we've got the trailer brake light malfunction on there as well now. When you put the vehicle into reverse, you see the rear parking sensors are disabled and your trailer symbol in the vehicle's display. As well as this, you've got other adaptations made to the vehicle, including ADAS related adaptations, trailer stability programs are operated to help with trailer sway control, and other features dependent on vehicle specification.
For tools and machinery, come to Machine Mart. Experts in our 65 superstores help you choose from the vast range, including air compressors, tool chests, stoves, welders, generators, water pumps, heaters, power tools, and much, much more. Or just order by phone or online. Look out for our money-saving special offers. Our free catalogue contains hundreds of price cuts and great new products. Or visit our website with thousands more specialist products in Machine Mart Extra. Shop in store, online, or call
Welcome to our aftermarket. My name's Glenn Shepherd. I'm director at Glen Callum Associates Limited. I'm going to be interviewing some of the aftermarket's top brass with a focus really on looking at the careers that are available within the supply chain. Over the next few episodes, we'll be talking to Neil Grant, Steve Jarnett, and also Nigel Duffield, all of whom have progressed within the industry to senior roles. So it's going to be interesting to see their specific stories and how they've progressed their own careers, with a view that we're promoting aftermarket careers and opportunities that exist now, and also the opportunities that will be available in the future too. First we have Nigel Duffield, who's Northern European Director for Finia Delphi Limited. Welcome, Nigel.
Thanks, Glenn.
What better way to explore careers than looking at Nigel's career and how he's developed over the last few years. But what we'd like to do, Nigel, is just to get a bit of an understanding of where did it all start? How did you get into the aftermarket, and what did you do before you joined the aftermarket?
Yeah, it's a good question. So thanks, Glenn, and thanks for having me. So yeah, how did I get into the aftermarket? So a little bit by accident, I have to say. So I was always interested in cars, which the aftermarket is about. So my dad always had nice cars and different cars. So when I went into sixth form at school, it wasn't anything to do with cars. It was about being a structural draftsman. And I did a year of A-levels, and I remember an engineer very fondly called Paul Jewson, who invited me for an interview at Over Partners, which was a consulting engineering firm.
Okay.
And I remember going there for 5 years, doing an ONC and a HNC in structural engineering and building studies.
Yeah.
And then in the mid-80s, the economy did this like it normally does, and the first to be hit was the building industry.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, what happened was I got made redundant 3 times in the 80s, and my mum cut out a little bit of an advert in the paper, in the Birmingham Evening Mail, that said there was a job at Bridgestone Tyres.
Yeah.
And it was at junction 2 of the M5, which you know well, Albury. And I went for an interview along with 400 other people.
Wow.
And there were 3 positions available, and I got it as a trainee, what they called a trainee technician.
Yeah.
So that was basically starting off right at the bottom in the warehouse, putting tyres away.
Yeah.
And then that gave me an opportunity to work in all the different departments of that supplier.
The reason I wanted to invite you today is because I've actually taken great pleasure out of seeing your career, elevate from when we originally met.
Yeah.
So it'd be good just to give people watching this a flavour of the type of positions that you've held and been involved with, so we can see the diversity and the way that you've grown. So
Yeah,
could you
that's a great question, and for anybody watching, I'll do a quick potted history. So I went as a trainee technician as a draftsman. So I went to college to do an ONC and a HNC, and then I swapped career and got into the automotive. So warehouse foreman, IT.
Yeah.
So I worked in the IT department for 2 years, learning about systems. That's where I learned to use all the Microsoft Office products well. So Excel, Word, all of those kind of things. And then went into the marketing department within Bridgestone. So that was a marketing specialist, so looking at a certain sector of tyres. Then went into the customer service department. So the customer service, that's actually the hot end of it. So answering calls from the customer, which is our distributor. And then from there, actually got the responsibility of going out in a car with an area to look after a budget, which is an amount of money that you've got to turn over every year, not only on car tyres, but then on truck tyres. Then went into a different supplier, so looking after shock absorbers and looking after exhausts, and did the same kind of role with a regional area. Then went inside to do a marketing role, so looking after exhaust as a product group. So that's getting to know the nitty-gritty about data, it's about product types, it's about competition, all that kind of stuff. And then the next step was to go back, not backwards is the wrong word, but a very important role, which is where we met. So I kind of went back to work for one of our customers, which is a distributor. So it was a large automotive motor factor.
Yeah.
So it was independently owned at the time, so turning over around 4 million. And that was to be the right-hand man of the owner.
The owner, yeah.
And that was probably the greatest experience, I have to say, that I got out of this, and that gave me a lot of insight into what I was doing later, because that customer is 24/7, so it's like lots of vans delivering lots of parts every 15 minutes to 800 garages.
Yeah.
So then from there, back to a supplier, and that was in a senior role as a UK sales manager, then as a UK sales director. And then essentially today, you know, skipping forward to kind of like a country director. So that's kind of like looking after a mini business unit. So that's looking after a marketing department, a technical department, a sales department. So that's where we are. So that role, not roller coaster, that kind of that career, but it started off at the bottom and understanding the basics about what we do as a business, and that gives you the skills and the knowledge then to work a little bit further up.
You've obviously honed your skills over the years. What sort of skills do you think you've gained from working within the automotive aftermarket over the last decade or so?
Okay, well, the skills I've gained are many. So I'm thinking of the first one that comes to mind is dealing with people. It's getting over situations with commercial agreements. It's actually knowing the products. And it's actually working not just with external people, but working with internal teams. I think teams within suppliers, I'm at the moment, are like an F1 team. So you've got to get on internally as well as externally. And I think I've also learned that patience as well. So one thing that I like to think is that you do your time served and then you get to the next position, and if you show enough ambition, then if you're good at what you do, you'll get on. So yeah.
Okay, and you know, for those that are not so familiar with the aftermarket, because obviously part of what we're trying to do is promote our industry outside the sector, to bring in new skills, new experiences into our sector. Where do you see and what type of opportunities do you see within our sector that, you know, maybe either mirror other sectors or areas that are kind of unique to us?
It's a great question. I think areas that mimic other or mirror other industries are that in my business at the moment, there's a logistical department, there's a sales department, there's a digital media department, there's a marketing department, and you know, there's a HR department. So all of these businesses still have the same internal organisation. It's just that it happens to be in the automotive aftermarket. So there's lots of areas that you can actually get into, and I think all of the companies also have very, very good web pages where they advertise their positions as well. So, and it also tell you a lot about the company. But it's really about how we get youngsters to be interested in the automotive aftermarket, and that's I think why we're here today.
Absolutely, and I think also looking at one of the areas that we're going to focus on over the next few months is looking at adjacent sectors, allied sectors, to bring in people in that are probably more experienced, you know, because a lot of the businesses that we trade with are looking for existing skills. So, you know, in terms of the type of opportunities that your present employer has, I mean, what sort of, where do you see the opportunities for more experienced candidates?
Okay, so in our current business today, so new opportunities are in the areas of media. So social media, you know, that's a big part of what we do. Instead of magazines now, everything goes online. So content creation, things like that. We also have a big training part of our business. So we have our new technical centre in Warwick. You know, a lot of that is promoting that business and promoting it online. That's very, very important. And I suppose the other one, the big one, is IT. So companies like ourselves are always investing heavily in new IT. So our new SAP system, that requires people that understand what they're doing in a different kind of function. But also not just about SAP, but how it integrates into our automotive business. So yeah, those are the kind of areas that are new.
The other area that we're seeing a lot of acceleration in our industry, Nigel, is customers and businesses have a thirst for data and driving information and making decisions through, you know, gaining better quality data and lots of it. Are you seeing that reflective in your business right now?
Yeah, 100%. A drive for data. Everybody wants it now. You know, the younger generation need to see data. So a great example of that, for example, is we used to use a manual booking system for our new training centre. So with all of our courses on a spreadsheet, people used to like look at the website and then ring up and try and book one. So now we've automated that into an automatic booking system where they can see everything online. They can see what time they want to book it, you know, who it's with, what date. You know, I know it sounds simple, but yeah, there is a thirst thirst for that data, and certainly in our products as well. So, our products, to diversify them from the competition, it's important that we get across all the good things about our products and why people should buy them.
Yeah.
And again, that's a marketing thing, but it's in a different format now. It's not on paper, it's not printed. It's really about on social media, so people can get it for their thirst for data immediately. Yeah. It's online and on that phone. So a lot of opportunities in that respect.
So therefore, careers, so within that sector, there is someone that has to, one, design that type of system, two, 100%. Implement it, three, maintain it, update it.
Yes.
So again, we're looking at, careers that are probably non-automotive biased in some respects.
Correct. It's like a general role. It could be in lots of different types of industries, and I think the thing is it's not starved in our industry. There's lots of that.
Yeah.
They're still there, but they're in the automotive industry as well. So people shouldn't see it as an automotive job. It's a general job, but happens to be in the automotive industry
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah. So looking at that, that situation sort of on a wider scale, do you think that we do enough to promote our jobs and our industry and the careers within our industry to wider allied sectors? Do you think we could do more, to promote our jobs into different areas and look at bringing in skills from allied sectors? And if so, what could we do?
It's a great question. Promoting our industry is so important for us because it's the lifeblood of the future. I think I'll give you an example. Recently, I've got two lads. One of them is just going to university. We went to the NEC in Birmingham to a jobs fair, and the only automotive business that were there were JLR. There was nothing else to do with automotive at all. So I think, yes, we do need to promote our industry. How we do that, of course, is, we've got our own ideas, but I think it needs to come from the top of our businesses, the people that are running it. And, the strategy can be, we want to drive this company forward, we want to make more money, but there also needs to be a strategy around how we attract people to it, because they're going to be the lifeblood of this company when we're all gone.
We've got Automechanika coming up 2025. Do you think that's going to be a great platform, especially being Birmingham based? Is that going to be a great platform for us to elevate careers and opportunities within the automotive aftermarket, independent automotive?
I think there's no better place to elevate our business than a show like Automechanika. It's a bi-yearly thing. We have lots of different levels of the trade attending that, as well as the public. So, the public need to understand what we do, because, the public, let's face it, the kids of the public are going to be the next people in our, or the next generation of people in our industry. So Automechanika is a great place. We not only have people from our industry there, but we have people from outside of the industry, and I think that's the key thing. We all know what we're doing in the independent aftermarket. It's about trying to understand, or get people to understand, outside of the automotive aftermarket what we're doing and attract people to it.
Okay, and sort of as for your own business right now, Phinia Delphi, what exciting developments have you got sort of happening? If you're able to share any of those with us right now.
Yeah, it's a good question. Phinia Delphi have lots of plans, and constantly talking about strategies. We want to understand, how our growth's going to be in the next 5 years, and not only how we're going to get there with our growth and our numbers, but the things we're going to put in place to get there. And part of that has got to be the people, and part of that has got to be the roles.
Yes.
And, those roles, as you said earlier, those roles will change. So, as a commercial guy, so I'll go back and say, well, I think I can get to that number by 2030, but I need X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And in that comes resource, it comes in different jobs and lots of things. So, lots of things happening and lots of plans. And that's what's exciting about our industry, because, and it's what people don't see, I suppose, because, our strategies are talked about every single day, and our leadership team, our ELT, are constantly talking about these things. Lots of exciting things.
And reflecting back, Nigel, if you're reflecting on your career, and obviously, you've risen to, being quite a senior director in a very corporate business. When you think of all those, years back, when you joined Bridgestone, did you ever foresee that you'd be where you are today?
I have to say I was driven. I didn't, if I'm honest. I thought it was a different kind of industry for me to get into, but I loved cars. So I think you're always driven by your interest.
Yeah.
But one thing for me, I think that's worth mentioning is that all of these companies that you see, they've all got these types of roles in.
Yeah.
we put things in boxes and we logistically take them to people.
Absolutely.
That concept is the same for lots of other businesses. So, you know, it's for the people that are listening to this, and certainly the younger generation, is that all these things that you're probably looking at in another company exist in our business as well.
Yeah.
So I think, I think it's been very good to me, this industry. You know, we can't get anywhere without drive. You know, there's always been drive there.
Yeah.
And the challenge and meeting that challenge and trying to do your best. So that goes hand in glove with anything, not just the automotive industry. But, you know, I've been very happy with it. And what I'm also amazed at is the great people that I meet in this industry.
Yeah.
The different types of people. And they've come from different areas. You know, you'll meet a person who has probably been at a company for 25, 30 years. You'll meet another interesting person that's been there 12 months that's come from a different industry. And, you know, there's this old adage, isn't there, that once you're in this independent aftermarket, you can't get out.
Absolutely.
So that's probably where I am at the moment.
Yeah, and you know, sort of, you know, with an industry that turns 24 billion alone in the UK, you know, should we not be, you know, sort of a candidate's career of choice rather than sort of stumbling into our industry, you know, and you know, can we do more to get that message across, you know, in terms of how, you know, how much, you know, our industry contributes towards the economy?
100%. You know, to kind of like showcase what we actually give is huge, you know, and that comes down to us doing this today.
Yeah.
But also lots of other people doing it as well. And I know that you've got some other interviewees that they're going to do the similar kind of thing. And I think the more of that we do, the better. You know, on this kind of media platform, it's very important as well. You know, people tend to watch these kind of things now.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think it's very important that we group together. You know, I think about the body that works very hard behind this, which is the IAAF.
Yes.
You know, and the guys and girls there do a fantastic job. They're a small team.
Absolutely.
And it kind of puts it into perspective to me. You've got this whole £26 billion industry.
Yeah.
And the independent aftermarket, you know, the IAAF and the good work that they do, that small body of people promote this. And I think we all need to get together and help and do that.
And I think as an industry, I mean, we look to allied sectors, of course, and there are lots of allied sectors out there that reflect and mirror the aftermarket in many facets. You know, one of them being, let's say, the building and construction market.
Yes.
You know, they've got tools, they've got, you know, products that go onto site, they've got builders merchants, which are a little bit like our motor factors. So, you know, what sort of message would you give to an individual looking to maybe get out of, you know, the construction market or reflective market? You know, what's the big thing? What's the big draw for the aftermarket?
Well, I think the big draw is it's you know, the jobs that you're doing now. I'll take the plumbing industry as a great example.
Yeah.
So the plumbing industry is very similar to the automotive industry in terms of where it's gone in history.
100%.
So it's consolidated, but all of those products that you see maybe in Screwfix or maybe in Plumbase, you know, they're all products that need managing, they need pricing, they need selling in boxes, and they need delivering to the customer.
Absolutely.
That's exactly the same thing that we do, except we do it with automotive parts.
And within the aftermarket, of course, we're talking about automotive, passenger car, light commercial vehicle, but there are lots of other aftermarkets that exist.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like we talked about marine earlier on. Marine's a huge business. Agricultural, industrial. So all of these things off-highway, they're all linked into a lot of the suppliers that offer jobs today.
Yeah.
So some of the big OE businesses are into all of those sectors.
Yeah.
So there's lots of scope for different interests. There's lots of scope for different roles. And like I say, I'd encourage anybody to look at an automotive business and delve into what they've got available for you.
It's been a pleasure having you on today, Nigel. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And hopefully people out there will get a feel for what type of careers are going to be available in the aftermarket moving forward. Thanks very much.
100%. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.